Hey, Margie here. I am so excited about today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about something you can do to improve your health, your family's health, and the health of the planet. And it has to do with our cleaning products. And I'm really thrilled to be here today with Stephen Ezell. And Stephen has built the fastest growing eco-chemical manufacturing company in America called Truly Free. He has pioneered a refillable cleaning revolution, and Truly Free has inspired hundreds of thousands of families, including my own, to live a non toxic life. And in the process, he has created sustainable jobs in 5 countries. So this is such a win-win. Today, we're going to talk about the problem with so many of our cleaning supplies and what we can do. So this is filled with great information that I'm just so excited to share with all of you. So stay tuned. Welcome, Stephen, to the podcast. I can't even tell you how happy I am to have you here because I so believe in the work you're doing. And not only is it going to help the listeners, but it also helps the planet. And that's just something that so often we don't think about. So this is such a win win and welcome.
Margie, I am jazzed to hang out with you. We always have great, good chats. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, we do. Okay, so I always love to start with the backstory, because you've done lots of different things in your life and now you're devoting it to Truly Free and this great mission. So why don't you just sort of give us the backstory, how you came to do this?
Yeah, I guess it all started. I mean, my story. I mean, I'm a punk kid from the South Bronx. Grew up in the restaurant business in New York City, and I got married to an amazing woman, and then we tried so long to have kids. Finally, had kids, and our first child. We have five now, but when our firstborn child, who's now, I mean, oh my gosh, almost 15, when he was a tiny little baby, about 3 weeks old. I was in charge of one of his first baths, right? And I was like really excited to like help, right? My wife out, and we put on the in the sink in the kitchen, the baby bath that sits kind of in the sink, and got the towel out and got everything ready. And I was taking, and he was screeching, like screaming, and I just thought he was like really mad because he didn't want to, take a bath. He didn't want me. Well, I started taking off his onesie, and it looked like I dumped him in boiling water, right? So like from his ankles, well, all the way up to his neck, he had like this raised rash, like, lines, like like it looked like he was like, it was horrific. So I called up my wife. My wife's a NICU nurse, so she's used to like sick babies, right? And when I saw my NICU wife freak out, then I freaked out. And then we like, got him all bundled up. It was the winter time. Went straight to the pediatrician. Pediatrician's, all right, we got to go to a specialist dermatologist. He's clearly having some type of reaction to something, and then, like, was it something that my wife ate because she was breastfeeding? Nothing, nothing, nothing. So on the way to, dermatologist is like, oh my gosh. So he like prescribes all this stuff, calls it in. We're like flying to the pharmacy, and my aunt calls me and says, hey, what are you using for laundry detergent? I said, what do you mean? I'm using, the big bright bottle, the one that grandma always used. I mean, you can mention the name. I can't mention the name. And she said, no, no, no. Like those products, those can make kids sick. And I was like totally like blown away. Like how can that be? She goes, no, no, like, these chemicals can get, have skin irritations are really bad for kids. Strip his clothes. She gave me like this homemade concoction, homemade formula. And we like made this thing up and like stripped his clothes and washed it in this little homemade concoction. And the next day he was fine. And I was just like, oh my gosh, right? Like if laundry detergent can make my kids sick, what else is in my laundry room? What's under the kitchen sink? What's in the cupboard? What's in the refrigerator? So I became like a full blown eco conspiracy theorist, 15 years ago. And I was convinced like these companies are trying to kill us. And I went on this whole journey. Well, years went by, left New York City, moved to Northern Michigan, was on this eco journey, met this awesome grandma who was selling laundry soap at the local farmer's market, loved the product. And, she was looking for an investor, a partner. So I invested in the company. She's since retired many years ago. And, it started off with three people, a concrete mixture that we got from Harbor Freight, mixing up, powdered laundry soap, is now the fastest growing eco chemical manufacturer in the country. We employ, well over 100 people and ship all over the world. And we started off like just bootstrap and wanted to change the world, and now we are. So that's the story.
Oh my gosh, I love this from so many levels. It's just it's always crazy. I just am such a believer at looking at root cause. And so often that happens with so many things in our bodies, including bone health, everything is that, we treat the symptoms or skin rashes, we treat the symptoms. We don't think, most people don't think about laundry detergent or all the chemicals as being an issue in their health. And, I always explain it as, we can tolerate some, like your body can do some detoxifying. And, I don't know if you ever saw, I'm sure you did, the episode of with I Love Lucy, with Lucy and Ethel and the chocolates are going down the conveyor belt. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so they can
sure.
handle a little bit, but then it gets overwhelming and everything falls apart. And same thing with our health. And so this is so critical on just so many levels. But I want you to explain exactly how it works in a minute. And let's talk about what you've done for the planet. So explain, because it's funny, I brought one of my products. I've been since I met Amy, one of the people who's in your company. It was right when the pandemic started, and I heard about her soap, and I said, and I started with one thing, and then I have your entire product line
Thank
because
you
it
so
makes
much.
so much sense. But I want you to explain what you've done for the environment and how this works, because I just brought one example, the glass
Yep.
cleaner and then your refill. So tell everybody the nuts and bolts of I think it's brilliant, and it's just shocking to me that this isn't the model in every grocery store everywhere. Why is
Sure.
it that we recycle other things, but nobody's really thought about this brilliant idea?
So when we started, again, I'm at this a decade, and a decade ago, we were just liquid laundry detergent, laundry soap on a store shelf, and that really wasn't taking off the way we wanted to. So we pivoted a bunch of times, and back in 2015, I had this bright idea to build a website to sell laundry soap online. We were going out of business. It was like we were at barely making payroll. So building a website was my last ditch effort to save the company. I didn't know anything about the web. So I taught myself to build a website, and fast forward, we're about to launch, and I had the bright idea to go to the post office to find out, how much does it cost to ship, 4 pounds, 50 ounces of laundry detergent from, northern Michigan to California to Florida, New York, Florida, like all the major cities around the country. And it averaged around $14 to ship. And we're about to sell the product for about $15. So we knew that was the go out of business strategy. And I've proven I knew how to do that. So we really just kind of came back and says, oh my gosh, like I just built this website. What do I do? And we just started asking crazy questions like, well, why does it cost so much money to ship? Right. Well, it's the weight, right? It's shipping water. Like, okay. Well, where else? Well, the packaging is so expensive. And I hate packaging because, you know, over 90% of all cleaning product bottles never actually get recycled, especially laundry. And the reason being is the recycling companies can't deal with the chemicals that are in the products. So think about this. You're at, so many people, you have that dish soap on the counter at home, and you ran out, and you got to go to the store, but you got to do some dishes. So what do? You add a little bit of water. When you add water, it suds up, right? Same thing with laundry. And then let you use that. Oh, I still have to, and you add more, and these bubbles just keep coming. Well, in the recycling plants, they can't deal with these chemicals, so they just get thrown out, right? They go to
Wow.
landfills. Many of them float in the ocean. Like water bottles, clear bottles, milk jugs, food-based plastic. Those are easy to recycle because they're easy to clean, but it's hard to clean the cleaning chemicals out of these jugs. So many recyclers don't even deal with it. So what came out of this was, what if we didn't ship water, right? What if that expensive pollution-ridden plastic became lifetime warranty packaging? And what if, and out of that came the world's first refillable cleaning system. So we don't ship water. You get an empty bottle like you have there. It's actually our old packaging. You've had that. I know I
Oh,
remember
I've used this,
you
right.
remember that. So we've actually
But I have
changed our
I
packaging
have
to
the
bring,
new wait, look, I have
so
the new packaging
right. So you
for the
got the
so I've had
degrinder
this
and the
for many
refill.
years. Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, again, like on my desk, I've got a degreaser on my desk. I pick up my mess and I use it all the time. So like I've had this bottle on my desk for 4 years.
And this still's
And when
perfect. I have to tell you, Stephen,
and you
this is absolutely perfect, and
Yeah.
it's old. Yeah.
So we started with laundry, reinvented that, and then we started like systematically replacing all the toxic stuff around the house with safer alternatives. Um, so yeah, we've, you know, pioneered a new movement. Um, and that's where we've been.
So let's tell everyone how much plastic you've saved from the ocean. This is beyond.
We've saved right now about 13 million pieces of plastic from ever being produced, since we've started. So it's kind of our impact story, you know, because we're definitely, you know, the essence of a mission driven company. You know, we've saved just a little over 13 million pieces of plastic from ever being produced. We've rescued a couple hundred women from sex trafficking. Many of them have sustainable jobs now, making products for us like Dryer Angels. We fund an entire deaf village in Jamaica with our Dryer Angel project. We have 12 full-time women in Jamaica that are deaf that have been through some stuff. And we've started industries in Jamaica on the back end of it. We built orphanages and churches and safe houses, and now in Dominican Republic and Haiti, you know, feed a lot of kids in Mexico. So we've, you know, really pay forward what God's given us as much as we can. And yeah, it's, you know, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's just such a win-win because, I don't know that you know that I teach happiness as well as bone health, et cetera. And that's one of the principles, of being kind and giving back. And when you do something that's greater than you are, there's just nothing better for your soul
Yeah.
as well as it just helps the world. But
The
in our
reason why
world,
it's the reason why it's better to give than to receive is when you give, the first person who receives is yourself.
yep,
So
I couldn't
re-
agree more. Can we actually go in detail? Because let's talk about, I should have brought it down, that dryer angel. That is a very special product and it smells, it's just so lovely. Explain what
yeah.
it is.
So that's my favorite product we ever made. So between our skincare company, True Self Organics, and Truly, we have over 100 products that we manufacture now. But that's my favorite product of all time. So that is a dryer sheet alternative. Dryer sheets, Margie, you know, are from the store are some nasty chemicals. So we sought to replace that, and we came up with this idea of a dryer angel. So it's a hand sewn angel, and inside there's a dress, and inside the dress you put a bag, a sachet full of, you know, corncob media that's been scented with essential oils. So kind of like a wool dryer ball, like it fluffs up your clothes real nice, leaves a nice scent, um, and you know, with essential oils. And that dryer angel, that's the project and the product that we make in Jamaica, Southeast Asia. That's our mission product. Um, and yeah, there's the lives that have changed through that. You know, when it first started, you know, we had this idea for a product. We met this ministry, it's called Caribbean Christian Centers for the Deaf, great organization, and they came to us for donations. And I'm like, now that's boring. Like, let's do something more creative. Let's do more impactful. At the same time, you know, I did what any good businessman would do. I went to, you know, Alibaba in China, see how much I can get it made for in China. It worked out to be at 75 cents, 74 cents to get them made, which would have been great for margins. And they came back to me and they said, we could pay you like $2.20. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is, you know, too much. Well, I mean, I can't afford this. I said, but let me pray about it. I'll let you know tomorrow. I came back and said, I can't pay you 220, but I'm going to pay you 525. Like, how, why would you pay us that? I'm like, because here's what we're going to do. We're going to fund your entire ministry with this project. And you're now going to use the proceeds from this to start other industries so that you can become 100% self-sufficient
Ah,
versus having to go from church to church passing the plate. And we've done this now successfully with multiple ministries, multiple nonprofits, right? By showing that you don't have to just raise money from donors. You can create value and create worth, especially for the people that you're serving, you know, so that they're not begging for anything, that they are valuable contributors to society and you can create value. And so, I mean, to me, business is ministry. So, you know, we've done this now successfully over, you know, quite a few different organizations. Um, and, you know, again, hopefully to shift in the paradigm, right? So that businesses can do good things to help people and nonprofits don't just have to pass the plate, you know, or do fundraisers to support their endeavors. They can actually create monetizable value versus just, you know, passing the plate all the time.
wow, I love the product though. It's just there's something special about it. The clothes, because I stopped using dryer sheets a million years ago, and I really just wasn't using
Sure.
anything. But then, I got this as well, and I was like, let's try it, and it's great. I mean, that's the other thing. How did you go about? Because, and I always talk about this, like certain things are easy peasy. Substitution. We're not asking people to do a lot to really help their health, but just substitute a toxic product from a non-toxic. It's not as though they have to change. I do help people change their eating, et cetera. But this piece of it is really substitution. And a lot of times people aren't willing. They're like, no, this product really works. I don't want to go for one. Because in the past, Stephen, when things first came out, not your organization, but a lot of the products way back weren't as good, like when they were first, but your products are fabulous. Every single one of them is excellent. So what
Well,
did you do to
we
ensure
never yeah,
quality? I guess that.
we never wanted to compromise efficacy for a story. And so we've always pushed the envelope of green chemistry and cutting edge plant-based chemistry to make sure that our products perform as good or better than the toxic gobbledygook you can get at the store, because at the end of the day, you know, people certainly care about, you know, less plastic and saving the polar bears and, and having safe things in their home. But at the end of the day, if you're throwing your clothes in the garbage because they can't get clean, right? Or your windows still have streaks, or the oven can't get clean, or your hands aren't, et cetera. If it doesn't work, then people will feel like they got, taken advantage of. So we would never want that to happen. So yeah, we push, creativity and innovation make our products better and safer. And as green chemistry evolves, because the industry has evolved so much over the last decade, right? The amazing products that are now made from sugar and that are made from coconuts and made from plant-based products is astronomical. Where a decade ago, you had such a small amount of raw ingredients that you could source. Now there's hundreds to make really great things. So, and fortunately, as that chemistry technology has involved and the industry has shifted because more people are voting better with their dollars, more consumers are saying this is what we want. We want safer alternatives. The movement is expanding. Well, industries are pivoting accordingly, which is awesome.
Oh, it's just so really wonderful. And the products are just great. It's interesting because it was just last week actually that I had people that were cleaning and I came in my house and I had like this horrible headache. And I'm thinking, so I said to them, what did you use? It was a new person. And instead of using because I always tell them I'm allergic, you have to use all of my supplies. Don't ever use I like had this awful headache. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? Sure enough, they like, oh, we use this, like one of their products. And I instantly, when you're not used to these chemicals, and I'm very sensitive, it was like, "Oh, just get this out." I opened all the windows and
Sure.
get this out of my house. Well, why don't you just tell us some of the really awful ingredients, unfortunately, that are in traditional products? It's just I don't think a lot of people realize how toxic really, I guess almost
Well,
all things are.
yeah, let's start with laundry.
Okay.
So, to me, laundry is the single most toxic chemical class in the home. And people say, how is that possible? Right? Because if you get like your aerosol oven cleaner, it's got like skull and crossbones and it's like warnings all over the place and it's flammable. And, how can laundry detergent be more toxic? And, my answer is simple. How often do you take your easy type spraying oven cleaner and spray it on your skin? Well, if you're a normal human, the answer is never, right? So you know, some people put respirators on, you're wearing gloves and you're like cleaning. And then, so really the toxicity is downstream. It's like, well, no, when it's in the environment that you're putting these chemicals there. But you don't, and how often do you clean your oven? Well, I don't know, once a week if you're like a rock star cleaner. Well, right. So, but how often do you wear laundry detergent? Well, if you're buying the stuff at the store, you're wearing it all the time, right? You're literally covered in laundry detergent 24/7, right? You're sleeping on your pillow that's been pillowcases washed on you. You're in your sheets. You have your underwear on. You have your clothes on. And as you perspire, you're getting out of the shower and you're drying yourself with a towel that's been washed in these chemicals. And so these chemicals are scientifically, chemically engineered to leave a film, right? They're typically blue or green, and the reason why is to leave a chemical film that's blue or green, so that under artificial light, they're called UV brighteners, your clothes appear brighter than they're supposed to be, right? When you go to the store, it doesn't matter what store, like not the mass majority. of anything at a mainstream department store that you buy clothes, all of those fabrics have been washed and have been sprayed with either, for sure, ultraviolet brighteners and most likely flame retardant chemicals. And that's because when it's at the store, the marketers want you to see that the clothes are really bright to trick your eyes into believing they're brighter. So you buy their clothes. So these chemicals are, again, designed to leave a film. And now these chemical companies and the clothing manufacturers are under no obligation to tell you that they're there because they're in such small quantities. But we don't know what that does to the human body. There's no studies on this stuff. The other thing is perfumes, fragrances, right? The industry has evolved over the last few decades, right? Where, consumers demand the sensory experience. They want the smell. It's when you go in the department store, the first door that you walk through coming in from the mall that wafts into the mall is the perfume aisle because it wants to woo you in. That stuff gives me a headache, but like most people that get enamored by these things, you know, the supermarket aisle, the cleaning aisle, is like a fragrance bomb. So many people just take the laundry jug and they smell it before they even because they want to know what their clothes are going to smell like. Well, the problem is chemical companies, even my own, are not obligated to even list what those chemicals are. If they're under 1% concentration, you could and put them under this envelope called fragrance or parfum and not disclose what the chemical compounds are in those perfumes. And they could be pretty nasty things, but there's no that you can hide under, trademarks, USPTO under trade secret protection, and you don't even have to disclose your formula. We're really bad at business. We disclose all of our ingredients. We literally disclose our formula on our websites, on our packaging, hoping that our competitors can, copy us. Right? The industry has to change. So laundry is really a nasty chemical class, right? So people really need to start there. And I'm not saying don't buy mine, right? You don't have to go buy truly free products. There are other really great companies like Dr. Bronner's, I think, makes a really good product, right? That's safe. And there are others that are trying to push the envelope of safe products. Ours happens to work amazing. So, if you'd like to give us a try, we have an amazing offer for your community. For anybody listening to this podcast, we're going to give you 300 loads of non-toxic laundry detergent for free, right? So there's going to be a link that Margie can send out, and that's because we believe in your message, Margie, and we want to support your community. So we're going to hook them up with an amazing deal that we've literally only published on a couple, select podcasts like this, of thought leaders that are changing the world. So it's an
Oh, well,
awesome
thank
offer.
you. And the funny thing is, it lasts a really long time. I mean, I can't get over how I've had things for such a long time. And then I just go in the closet, as I say, and I get my little refill and just pour it in. And and same thing with the jug of, your laundry detergent. It's thank you. That's very generous.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, but I agree with you. You have to try it. And don't take Steven's word for it. Don't take my word for it. Try it and your clothes are
And we'll
great.
and we'll earn your trust. We'll give it to you for free, right? When you buy one of these, awesome bundles and you get an awesome, some great products and you try it with a guarantee and we'll earn your trust.
The interesting thing is that it's, when once you're aware, most time no one wants to do harm to their health or especially their children or their family. It's just not known and everyone's like, no big deal. This can't really be a big deal, but it is a big deal. That's the problem. Like everything accumulates. And so the more we can get rid of that bucket of toxins, the more it's going to really change your health. I mean, I can't even tell you how many things I've seen when people start reducing their toxic load that and it's doable. There are things in the environment. There's a lot we can't affect. There are just things, unfortunately, there's things in the atmosphere and there are certain things we can't affect, but there's a lot of things we can affect and we can make big, big differences. So this is one of them. But yeah, it's sad that fragrance, like who thinks when they look what could be in that? And even what's interesting, the companies can be so deceptive. I mean, for a knowledgeable person, like I've studied toxins. I've taken numerous classes on them. And I've worked with Lara Adler, who's like a real expert in toxins.
She's amazing.
Yeah. And so I know the key words, but you can look at a package and it can say plant-based or it can say all natural. It can really get you. They're really amazing at thinking something is safe when then you look at the ingredient and it's not at all. So there's a lot of, am I right about that? A lot of deception in the marketing, and when you look at the front of the package, what you see.
Yeah, there is, Margie, and and the thing is, the industry evolves so much, and because of a lot of bad actors, the industry is having to pivot. Where even though our products are not, are completely safe and non-toxic, we may have to change our labels now too, because there's been so many bad actors that have hurt so many people that there's a lot of companies that say that they're honest about certain things, and they're not that honest, right? And they're hiding ingredients and things like that. Um, I'm glad that the industry is evolving. I'm glad that, consumers are voting better with their dollars and people are demanding transparency. They need to, right? People need to do their research. I kind of joke around a little bit about this is, right now you can go to the supermarket and get organic spinach for the same price as the genetically modified pesticide, herbicide, fungicide ridden distant cousin. That's really not even spinach, but it looks like spinach and it's got a label of spinach. And the reason why organic spinach is now, a price equalized with its chemical induced cousin is not because a bunch of farmers became philanthropists, right? It's because enough consumers said, this is what we want, right? We want to buy organic greens. And big agriculture had to make a decision. If they were going to lose market share to a bunch of granola crunching hippies, or they were going to pivot. And that's what happened, right? So large ag said, there's a market here. There's enough consumers buying organic greens that we have to figure a way to scale this particular category or we are going to lose. Now consumers are winning because enough voted. Well, if enough consumers continue to vote for safe, non-toxic cleaning products, lifestyle products, cooking products, home goods, durables, etc., businesses are going to have to continue to pivot or they are going to go out of business. So that's what's happening. It's an exciting time that even despite, inflation and the world kind of spinning out of control, consumers are continuing to vote better and businesses are going to have to pivot.
Oh, I love this because so often, people just, I don't want to say they don't get it, but I don't think people will look at me like I'm like granola,
Sure.
or like,
Me
certain
too.
things,
Sure.
or, if someone comes to me with their diagnosis of osteoporosis, it's not the first thing I do. It's certainly not the first thing, but, we work on food, the exercise, mindset, all sorts of things. But this is a piece of it. And I don't think, it's not something when you go to your doctor that they tell you the first thing they say is, "Oh, tell me, like, what are your cleaning products or what toxins are involved?" But it's important. It's just so important, and I just think, it's overlooked so much until people know and they say, "Oh, let's try it." And, as they start decreasing these toxins, people really do get better, and it's amazing to me, and it's an important piece.
And Marcia, I'll add to that, is, I have this theory, right? So that living the, I got a book coming out soon. I can't wait for you to, I'll send you the manuscript. And, this concept of living the green life, I believe is gets handled at three tiers. Like we're body, soul, spirit, and it needs to be handled in that order. And, the first thing that people need to detoxify is the things that go in you. And that's either thoughts, emotions, but also like food, nutrition, supplementation. That's like the first place people should start, right? Is like, what do you put in your body? The second place is what goes on you, right? And that's like laundry chemicals, perfumes, sunscreens, like lotions, potions, like things that you put on you need to be safe. And then the third, which is the hardest thing, is things that are around you, right? Those are the people that you surround yourself with. That's the air that you breathe, right? etc. So my encouragement to folks, right, is like this could be overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, I want to live this non-toxic life. Start with the things that go in you. Start with your water at home, right? Like make sure you're drinking really good quality water, that you're not drinking water that's laden with chemicals, right? With chlorine, with fluoride. And these are all the chemicals that, lots of research is showing are pretty dangerous to your health. What is the food that you're eating? What is in the cupboard? And then, look systematically on replacing the things that go around you and on you. Like, so things that are, your cleaning products at home, the laundry chemicals, like what are the that, the cooking utensils, the cookware, are you using Teflon? Are you using these chemical ridden, cleaning, cooking products? And then just one by one, as your budget allows, don't be overwhelmed. Just make one small step at a time. And then you'll eventually get to the point where you look around, it's like, you know, what else is in my home? Like, I don't even know what else is in my home. We just literally just made, released a product a couple weeks ago to our, to our community. It's an organic, sustainably sourced, sustainably made kitchen towel. And I was like, why do I make it was few months ago. I was in my house and I had these microfibers in the drawer and like, pot holders. And I'm like, where were these things made? Right. Were they made in a sweatshop somewhere in Asia from some child? Like, were they these microfibers, they create plastic pollution, microplastics. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we need a safer alternative. Like this has to get so we, released something as simple like a bar mop, like just a clean, a towel. And our community is like all over it because it's a great price and a great product that, now it's just one less thing that we have to worry about polluting the environment or putting, crazy chemicals in our house. So we just got to do one thing at a time. Don't be overwhelmed and, you could do this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say also, because overwhelm is the absolute enemy of happiness. And as I said, that's
Yeah,
something that I'm very passionate about. And people need joy in their life, and overwhelm will just zap it from you. So I
no
love what
doubt.
you said, one thing at a time. Okay, start with the detergent, start with one thing, and then when you run out of your glass cleaner, start with, whatever it is. And don't worry, don't feel, oh my gosh, I'm poisoning my body. And get crazy, because the thoughts and all that negativity is just as damaging, like you said. So I think that's such a good concept. One thing at a time, you start slow. And then what happens, because I've been doing this for so many years and coaching people for so many years, all of a sudden you do it like that. It's not overwhelming. And then you like realize you're living this very non-toxic life. You're feeling great. You have more energy. Your bones are better. Like just things start happening, because so many of the toxins and some of the heavy metals really do affect our bone health as well. And so it's just a very big win-win. So I wanted to say that. I also wanted to say I have your towels, and you can use it for many different things. It's also sort of like a sponge almost, in that it
Yep.
absorbs water, but it lasts forever. That's what shocked me. I thought, oh, I'm using this for so many things, it's gonna just deteriorate. I don't know what's in it, but it's like indestructible.
Yeah, so those are our reusable, those are our reusable paper towel alternatives. So
Yes, that's what I had.
we have an organic cotton, like, towel, and then we also have what you're talking about is our reusable towels. Those reusable towels are actually made from wood pulp, right? So, we have a partner, in Europe that because, in Europe, there's a huge emphasis on not only wood production, but sustainability. And so they take literally waste out of the paper mills and they turn that pulp into a towel that could be washed 100 times, right? So literally one towel replaces like 40 paper towels, like cases of paper towels. Um, and it's super absorbent, it works great, doesn't leave streaks. So you use it cleaning windows around the kitchen. We have these things all over the house, right? And we have 5 kids, they make a ton of mess. So, all of our kids have their own little cleaning caddy, which I name like names Sharpied on their cleaning caddies, and they have to do their chores and clean the house.
Wow, that's a great thing to do. I wish I did that with my kids way back. But anyway, no, they now they can, that they're old enough.
If you we have a saying, if you can make a mess fast, you can clean it up
Yeah.
fast too.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's real. What's funny, because I was a little skeptical. I have to be honest with you. I have to get the new product. I don't have this new towel, but I have. When that came out, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this with the sponge thing. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, can it really replace the paper towels? Can I really reduce them? And it was shocking to me. It was just really, I was surprised how absorbent they were.
Yep.
And also how you throw them in the wash and they're fine. It was a great product. So I have them all over
Awesome.
as well. So yeah, you've just done each product. There's not really not one product I don't like of, that's sort of the reason I wanted you on, because not only do I love the mission and oh my gosh, to be helping people in third world countries and know that what you're doing when you buy a product, you're also helping other people. There's just nothing better to me. I think how the whole world would work if that was the case. But they also, they're interesting and they work and you feel so good. Oh gosh, I can reduce how many paper towels I buy.
Absolutely.
So it's such a make you just feel good about it. Well, what else do you wanna share? You've done so much, and what else would you like to share with this population, people listening who, who really are into the nice thing about, who people when they start caring about their bones and their health and, they people do listen and they really and they care about the planet and they care about, helping others. So, is there anything else that you'd like to
I
share?
mean, I know your community is super educated, and that's because they're listening to you, right? And you've been, such an amazing thought leader for all these years, inspiring people, especially women, to take charge of their health. And my encouragement is, don't sit on the sidelines of your own health. Don't sit on the sidelines, and be an activist, right? Start in your own home and be an activist for your own home, and then recruit friends, right, that you love and family members to living a safer, more non-toxic lifestyle. And what will happen, and it's already happening, is that industries will pivot, and as they do, prices will become equalized, and eventually, the nasty stuff that became the mainstream will now become the minority, and safer alternatives will become the majority. So vote wiser with your dollars, and that's going to lead to the whole world becoming a better place.
I love that, and I really agree. You can't, look, you see in the paper climate change and all these horrible things, and everyone's complaining, "Oh, what's gonna happen, and what's the world gonna be like for my kids?" And, people are complaining, but that doesn't do anything. That does nothing. A simple step, start with one step, and you can do it yourself, but then be an advocate. Absolutely, we have to get rid of the plastics in the ocean. I mean, it's just such a negative cycle on what's going on. So by doing the first step and taking a positive cycle, right, we can go the other direction. And, you know, it's not one person, I mean, as you said, Stephen, by starting this company, what you've saved and, in terms of plastic in the ocean is just unbelievable. So it catapults, so I just love being part of it because I think it's just so positive and, this is what needs to be done if we're going to really make sustainable change in the world and not just worry, oh, what kind of planet and are we going to leave to our children? So, this is such a good step. And well, I can't thank you enough for your generous offer for the community, but just, you're a doer. You get an idea and you do, and you keep going and doing more good in the world. And, it's just a pleasure to
I
be with you and just
I
thank
can't
you
wait
so
to
much.
share with you what we're doing and releasing this fall. It's going to blow the industry's top off.
Oh, well,
It
what's the
really
name of
will.
your book, Steven? So we
It hasn't been finalized yet, but
okay.
it's with the publisher right now. But I'll let you know as soon as it is.
Okay, so we'll have to have you back on with the book, right, when that
It'll be
comes
awesome.
out. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, send me the manuscript. I love, love, love to read it. Well, thank you so much. It's just been a pleasure, and thank you for continuing all the wonderful things you're doing for
My
everybody.
pleasure.
So thank you.
Thank you very much, Margie.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Stephen Ezell as much as I did, and now have a better understanding of why we want to reduce the toxic burden we're all exposed to and how we can, just starting with the products that we use on a daily basis. And it's just a matter of substitution. And the good thing about Truly Free and what Stephen promotes is that by doing that, we're reducing the plastics that and really helping our planet. So it's such a win-win situation. Plus, I love Truly Free's mission that they're helping communities around the world. So just such a win-win. I'll have all the links to the offer Stephen mentioned in the show notes. And, one, you can make a difference. You can make, just by switching and reducing the plastic and by just reducing the chemicals, you can make a difference in your own health as well as the planet. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.